Dina Flores, Paul Solano,
Here.
Dolores Rivera, Dr. Diana Kennard, Ms. Tomiko Lee Nolasco,
Present.
and Santa Rajiv.
Thank you. Item number 2, approve agenda of regular board meeting of May 24, 2022. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, Mr. Solano. Aye. Flores. Stanzioni.
Aye.
And aye. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 2, open session. Item 1, pledge of allegiance. Can I have Ms. Perez or Emily Anaya to lead us in the pledge of allegiance? Thank you.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Item number 2, student board representative report. Ms. Yaren Perez and Emily Anaya.
Our announcements for Sunkist Elementary. Sunkist Elementary would like to thank Bassett High School for bringing several college-bound members of the graduating class of 2022 to visit our students last Wednesday. Sunkist Tigers from TK through 5th grade enjoyed seeing and interacting with the seniors and learning all about their colleges. We are pleased to bring back our Career Day and Vehicle Day on Thursday, May 26th. TK through 2nd grade students will get to see many different types of vehicles representing a variety of jobs and professions. Our 3rd through 5th grade students will be treated to guest presentations from a variety of professionals with careers like a radio journalist from KPCC, Pasadena, a social media director, a real estate agent, an electrician, and a district director of a California State Assemblyman, just to name a few. As the year comes to a close, we are pleased to share and celebrate the many academic achievements of our students in our final trimester awards assemblies taking place May 31st through June 3rd. Our kindergarten and 5th grade students will celebrate the promotion to the next grade level in a special way on Thursday, June 2nd. Kindergarten at 8:15 a.m. and 5th grade at 9:45 a.m. Both events will be in our outdoor assembly area on the upper playground. Finally, we would like to thank our teachers and staff for all the work they have done every day to educate and care for our students. Thank you for a successful 2021 to 2022 school year and have a wonderful and restful summer. Our announcements for Torch Middle School. Torch Middle School would like to congratulate Ms. Alex Perez, a classified employee of the year, and Mr. Kevin Tanao, our teacher of the year. The Torch Middle School community is grateful for the hard work and dedication in our students and community. Ms. Perez goes above and beyond for our staff, students, and truly is the glue that keeps the Torch Middle School community going. Her hard work and dedication to our students are unparalleled. Mr. Kevin Tanao is truly an asset to our school community. He goes above and beyond for all our students and does not hesitate to support his colleagues and the school community. His commitment to the education of our students, not just in the academic sense, but as a whole child, is admirable. He truly sees our students and cares for them as if they were his own. Torch Middle School would also like to congratulate the prompting class of 2022. You would be missed. Thank you all. Thank you to all our teachers and staff for always going above and beyond for our students. We hope to see everyone on June 2nd as we bid farewell to our 8th grade class. Thank you.
The announcements for Edgewood Academy. Edgewood Academy had its spring performance this past week, and the students did an amazing job in front of families and friends. They have come a long way this year. The biggest hit was the Star Wars theme song. Congratulations to Mr. Almgren and their 7th and 8th grade students for a wonderful performance. We had our last school spirit assembly of the year, and it was a terrific success. Students earned certificates for the categories of leadership and for the all-around Brave Knight Award. In addition, we had 10 students earn gift cards for their favorite restaurants for having their PBIS ticket selected, and 5 students earned free yearbooks for displaying positive behaviors and positive academic performances. Our last ASB perform our last ASB fundraiser will take place this week on Thursday, May 26th. To support us, all you have to do is go to Panda Express in the City of Industry with the flyer anytime from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and purchase food or drinks. 20% of the proceeds will be donated to Edgewood Academy's ASB. We are now super busy at Edgewood Academy doing our end of year activities. We have our academic medal ceremonies for all grade levels, the PBIS parties for all grade levels, and our 8th grade activities, which include the Knott's Berry farm trip, a special award breakfast, a barbecue, and a pizza party. The announcements for Vanig Elementary. Our 5th grade students are working on a project called Cereal Box Dominoes. We are collecting cereal boxes school-wide to create a Dominoes chain of boxes. The more donations, the longer the chain. Donations will be sent to a local food bank. Belnick would like to thank our classified staff for all that they do. They are very important cogs in the wheel that help our school run as smoothly as possible and provide daily support to students, parents, and teachers. End of year activities are upon us. Belnick ASB will be hosting their very first field trip next week and hope to make it an annual event. Students will participate in several outdoor athletic events. We look forward to having this event. Trimester 3 honors assemblies are this week. It is an exciting time to be honored as our students and staff have worked extremely hard this year to move students' learning forward. Information is available on Class Dojo. Promotion for our kinder and 5th grade students will be on June 2nd. We look forward to finally having an in-person event as we have had in previous years at our school and celebrating the accomplishments of our students. Our students are prepping and it is sure to be a great celebration. Our last family circle is on the last day of school. We invite our families to come and participate. Thank you.
Announcements for Don Julian Elementary. Don Julian students have completed their state testing. English language learners in grades TK through 2nd are almost done with their LPAC testing. We look forward to receiving results in order to begin to develop our academic plan for the following year. Our TK end of the year program and awards assembly were very well attended. Many students earned their associates and bachelor's degrees based on what they learned this year. We were happy to be able to hold our annual talent show in person this year. Students had the opportunity to show off their talents, and our cafeteria was filled with proud parents and guests. Our 8th graders enjoyed a nice dinner dance on May 16th and are looking forward to their Knott's Berry farm trip on May 25th. I want to thank all of the Don Julian teachers that have given their time to support our students during after school and evening events. We look forward to our 8th grade promotion on June 2nd at 8:45 a.m. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook to see all the great things happening at Don Julian. Announcements for Bassett High School. Last week on Friday, we had Luau, our last high school dance, and it was a success. Our students had a lot of fun and danced all night. On Thursday, we have our senior awards for those students that tried their hardest and achieved their goals throughout the year. Congratulations in advance, Olympians. The last day for school for our class of 2022 is this Friday. We are saddened to see you guys go, but excited to see everything you accomplished in your new chapter in life. Senior picnic is on June 1st. We will be having water slides, games, food, and more. Graduation is on June 3rd at 7 p.m. and tickets are now on sale for $10 in the activities office at Bassett High School. Make sure to buy your tickets and come out to support our graduating class of 2022. Grand night this year will be at Disneyland on June 7th, and we hope to see you guys there. To conclude our last announcements of the school year, we want to ask you all to keep our beloved friend. Keep our beloved friend and classmate, Mauricio Purcayo, in your thoughts and prayers. On Friday after luau, him, Brian Para, and Bassett alumni Erica Hernandez were hit by a drunk driver while eating tacos. Brian and Erica suffered minor injuries, but Marty's both legs were broken. He has a huge gash on his forehead and got 2 toes from his left foot amputated. And tomorrow morning, his other 3 toes will be amputated as well. He needs all the support and motivation he can get right now, because sadly, he won't be able to walk with us through that stage like we all wanted him to. We know the Basset community has helped out tremendously and has done so much for him and his family and friends. Truly appreciate it. We just ask that you continue to keep him in your prayers for his surgery tomorrow and other surgeries in the future, and continue to fight for justice for my best friend. Thank you.
And thank you for bringing up what happened to Maurice. Keep on our thoughts and prayers. Item number 3, public comment related to closed session items. The Board of Education welcomes input from the public in order to conduct district business in an orderly manner. For the privacy and safety of the speakers and to help staff respond with directly, board policies require public presentations to work comply with certain procedures, including speakers may address only items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to state their name, address the board from the podium, adhere to the applicable time limit of 3 minutes. Total time allotted for public input on either agenda or non-agenda items, they have to be about closed session items, is limited to 20 minutes. Complaints should follow the district complaint procedure before discussion with the board. Here it is. This is the appropriate point of the agenda for those present to speak with regards to any closed session items to speak. Only on topics that are actual closed session items will be heard at this time. Topics that do not address closed session items will be heard during open session comments. First, we have Fletcher Johnston.
Good afternoon. This is what I got here is this past year I was led to believe that iReady was a homework program. I found that my son was not doing very well in his reading program when his teacher supplied me with an iReady report at the end of the year's student-teacher conference. iReady just let him read without no corrections. I believe I was misled. After seeing the iReady report in the school council meeting, the first graders showed great on their classes. The second graders started showing comprehension issues. When I asked the principal to show me the 7th and 8th grade reports, wow, 70% were efficient, okay? I believe that iReady is not good for homework at all. I propose that we have teachers and helpers in every math and English class with fair pay. And get away from testing and start teaching our kids, my brothers and sisters, my little brothers and sisters, okay? The Bassett Unified School District had 2 school sessions to create a great program to jumpstart these kids. My opinion, it did not happen. I only leave you with one word: hypocrisy. Thank you.
Next, we have Apollonia Sullivan.
Community. Mr. Barajas, president of the board, it strikes me disenchanting that you do not know the history of our children when they get run over, and the first thing out of your mouth is, I appreciate a Texas situation, but when over the weekend one of our students that is due to graduate gets hurt, it bothers me because I know about it. I'm a member of the community. Why don't you know about it? And why don't we speak on it? The other thing, as far as negotiation goes, The negotiations in the streets are getting out of control. On my way home with my grandchildren and my children, I stopped because I was taken back of the corner I used to stand in to see all these people. There was aggression. One of the members of the group came at me. I believe that if she did not see me with a phone or my children, she would have opened the door. That's hypocrisy, because the last time I checked, when I went over there to advocate for child abuse to stop, I was told every name in the book, from aggressive to whatever. When you expose yourself in the corner, be ready for people to film you, question you, ask you the dumbest questions. It comes with the territory. I know you guys are new at this. And after 7-8 months of me advocating just for child abuse to stop, it didn't work. Let's see how this goes. Thank you.
Next, we have Denise Loera.
I come here today to ask the school board to implement strict restriction and monitoring of the school devices that have been provided to each student to have access to school curriculum. Students have abused of these devices and have become a problem during valuable class time. I also request teachers have access to monitor devices during class time to ensure our students are truly receiving the education that is being provided to them and not to be wasting their time as they have been doing. As a parent, I feel frustrated implementing and monitoring my children while at home. At school, I am not able to control these devices. I ask all social media be restricted from these devices, including YouTube. Our children's minds have been intoxicated by social media and challenges created on TikTok. I do believe that social media has created a great problem in our students and their characters and their way that they are defiant towards teachers. I feel that it's influenced by all of this. So I hope that the school board take this seriously and implement stricter rules and restrictions on these websites. That way our students can be safe during the time that they are spending in school. And then when they come home, us parents can take care of the rest. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Wendy Camargo, and she's been donating minutes by Tom Covington.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Wendy Camargo. I'm a fourth grade teacher at Don Julian. Just want to take a moment to reflect on our students who were injured this past weekend. I did see the posts on social media, and you know, those Huarcayo children have come through our schools. They sat in our classrooms, his brothers, his sisters, his cousin. We know them. It breaks our heart, crying, tears, listening to these girls speak about their best friend who's not going to walk across the stage. Just want to give a moment of time to really appreciate him and to send our thoughts and prayers, and hopefully that he has a good recovery, a speedy recovery. So, but back to business at hand. So I made sure I had my 3 minutes donated today, just in case I ran out of time. But here's our my updated speech. So we've now reached the end of the school year without a contract, months into negotiations, and now impasse, and still nothing. While the district still is currently sitting on $16 million in reserve, we've gone years without getting any increases. I personally cannot remember a year where we received a COLA on schedule. Many districts around us have settled well above COLA this year, plus one-time bonuses, plus increases in benefit caps, and agreed to continuing on schedule raises for next year as well. The COLA is over 5% this year, and next year is projected to be higher still. For the first time in a decade or more, the district has the resources to start catching us up on the salary schedule. When the district needed us to take furloughs to stay solvent, we did. When COVID hit and we needed to suspend negotiations, we did. And now when the district is flush with cash and can put a significant dent in how low our salaries are, You claim poor. That's in fact a lie. You simply don't want to put money towards your people. What you fail to realize is are leaving, some by retirement, which we will honor here tonight, or two, but more on the agenda tonight, are leaving because the district has failed to provide them with a work environment that was acceptable. We all know that there is declining enrollment, but you now have a teacher shortage. Since our salary schedule is not competitive with surrounding districts, I wonder how you plan to battle this problem. You are also losing veteran teachers to better paying school districts. Even it seems to be monthly at this point. This year alone, I know of 8 teachers, 20+ years in the district that have left, and only 2 of those are to retirement. Teachers don't leave because of students. We love our kids and our community. We leave because we are disrespected, micromanaged, and not looked at as the professionals that we are. Your lack of compassion for people, your lack of creativity and innovation will be the death of this district long before teachers' salaries ever will be. You are a checkbox. Do we have these programs? You want to have all kinds of programs, but you don't want to invest in the people that will actually run the programs. Who do you think is really coming here? A few examples, Saturday class. When we have ARC monitoring our Saturday programs, we built our programs. We had to turn away kids because we had so many kids wanting to come to Saturday classes. Parents were amazed. Why does my child want to come on a Saturday? They enjoyed it. They had fun. They were learning. Our dual enrollment program at Sunkist. A year ago, teachers wrote a letter to say, hey, hold up. We're not ready to start this. We want to make it awesome. But you did not listen. And now dual is currently nowhere close to being full. And the last one here, as we start a new program with early college, I know personally, I received mailers after mailers from surrounding districts saying what their early college looks like. I've not seen one from Bassett. And I know where I live in West Covina, they actually have a campus for it. I'm concerned that yet another program is being started without a full plan to implement it. I've said this before, that Bassett for its size could be turning education on its ear. We have such a depth of teaching knowledge that goes untouched and underappreciated. We have the potential to run outstanding programs, but simply having them doesn't make it great. Teachers that are respected, included, and compensated, working side by side with communities, make a school, a district, and a community great. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Parliament Haskins.
Good evening, BUSD Cabinet and members of the board. On behalf of BTA, we would like to reiterate our commitment to seeing all, and we emphasize all, our members receive a fair and just contract. A just contract would consist of a fair raises for every member, raises that take into account the inflation that people are being subjected to. A fair contract would start placing BTA members on par with every school district in the San Gabriel Valley instead of far below them. BTA knows that every member is a brother or sister, and like any decent family, we will not leave any one of our brethren behind. After all, the value of an organization is only as good as its most vulnerable member. We know what kind of organization BTA is. What kind of organization is the USD choosing to be? Finally, congratulations to our retirees who are joining STRS, Teacher State Retirement System, an organization that built in automatic raises to take care of its members. Also, I'd like to recognize Jonathan Garcia, Haley Curtis, Gilberto Rios, and Emily Chavez as BTA scholarship recipients. And we definitely are all keeping Mauricio inside our prayers. Thank you.
Next, we have Rachel Cordero.
Good evening, Bassett Unified School District, teachers, and community. My name is Rachel Cordero, and I am a graduate of Bassett High School. I'm also a proud parent of 2 children attending Bassett schools. My oldest daughter will graduate from Bassett School next week in a few years. My youngest will also graduate from Bassett High School. I couldn't be more thankful for the expertise and effort that all of Bassett teachers make every year and every day. I am very sad to hear that the teachers have to be here to make their voices heard, to get a reasonable raise, one that makes their pay equal to what teachers in the neighboring districts receive. I know that community members and teachers have stood at this podium and said, actions speak louder than words. It's time for improvement and change. Our teachers deserve to be paid what neighboring teachers are getting paid. I know that one person said what many are thinking. We voted you in and we will vote you out. It's time to make improvements for our schools, our teachers, and for our students. If the powers that be don't do it, we will vote for new leaders that will. The time for change is right now. Pay our teachers.
Next, we have Blanca Mendoza. Blanca Mendoza. We have Stephanie Mendoza. Up next, then we have Dora Carrillo.
Hello, everybody. I don't know if all of you know me. My name is Dora Carrillo. I'm the counselor at Van Wyck Elementary. And I wasn't planning to talk. I guess I signed the wrong sheet. But since I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I concur with all my fellow teachers here. We do deserve a raise. I have a contact in Hacienda La Puente. For the past 3 years, they have gotten a raise, or I don't know how many years, 4 years or 5 years, no less than 3%. There's so much potential in this district, it's not even funny. One of the things that I heard over and over again is the declining enrollment. Until now, I haven't heard anything, any plan from anyone, from the board members, or even from the admin from the district office, even contemplating to come up with a plan to keep kids. The programs that we have are okay, but when it comes down to the high school, there's so much potential there, especially the career technology part. Why can't we look into pretty much getting some other exciting CTE classes? I mean, I don't understand. The other thing is that all of us here, all the teachers here, we give it all we have. And the thing is that it just drives me nuts that it's not shown. I don't feel respected. I don't feel loved. And guess what? I love Van Wyck. I love Bassett Unified School District. I love my colleagues. But one thing that is making me look outside of here is the disrespect. That's pretty much it. And it's at different levels. I have done negotiations, so I've heard it all. I have participated in I've been very active with the union, and I've heard it all. And that's how come I know. It's not only about union, it's about livelihoods. At other districts as a counselor, I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I get a decent paycheck, right? But at another district, under teacher pay scale, I would be earning more. Even the principals, for goodness sake, You know, the principals, it's a joke. What they're getting paid is a joke compared to other districts. Like seriously, if you don't want to lose your people, and these are quality people, please consider a fair pay, please. I mean, I have been angry. I have been very sad. I mean, seriously, I've gone through all the emotions already. It's crazy. I think you should consider looking at things. And board members, please don't rely on certain facts that you get from people. I need for you to be active and actually look at the books and see if you could afford it, because we know that you can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Last but not least, we have Sarah. To speak? Go ahead. Oh, you're not going to speak? Looks like Sarah, yeah.
It's S-R-O, last name A, first name M. Everybody else signed up to speak? What is your name?
All right, but go ahead then. You're actually in public comments during open session, so
Oh, I landed wrong. I'm sorry, can you still speak?
go ahead, I'll stop you.
Okay. Hi, hello, board. My name is Joanne Carrillo, and I wasn't going to speak myself also today, but I wanted an opportunity to say how disappointed I am. Not so much of the whole situation, but I stand 36 years working for the school district. And my plans are retiring pretty soon, so I went to state preschool from Head Start. I went to state preschool in order to get better paid for the whole year, working 12 months to achieve, a better paycheck at the end when I retire. But I did not realize that how I'm going to be so deprived of going to state preschool. I still have to do the assessments. I still have to do the DRDPs. I have to do exactly what Head Start does. But I walk in the door at 6:15. My first child comes in at 6:30. I leave at 2:45. And all the children are there until like almost 6 o'clock that are there. I have no prep time. I'm lucky if they're asleep, I get to have some prep time, but all my paperwork is required to be submitted in. And I have a half-hour lunch. No 15 minutes breaks or other whatsoever. I've been here, like I say, 35, 36 years, and I have not even reached $30 an hour mark. And that is with the BA. That is with the BA. So I'm sitting here so disappointed because just two of us are here from child development. And I had mentioned it to you before. As soon as I left, I backed up and said, wait a minute. The reason child development is not here because we get intimidated. And that's what's going to happen with us. So there's two of us, and child development stands here, getting such little pay as we're getting, because yay, they're getting $3,000 for a stipend that wasn't given from your budget. It was given to child development's budget and staying up, but nothing for state preschool. It says nothing for state preschool, but yet I have 24 children, larger than the 17 children that Head Start has. They have 3 hours prep time every single day. I don't have 3 hours prep time every single day, but they're going to show you the favoritism, retaliation. State preschool, I've seen the director never once came in and said good morning to us in their classroom the whole entire year. The supervisor came in twice to sub for us. And then we have the little gopher, the site supervisor that does all the paperwork for everybody, does everything as the manager of the state site with huge income. And yet they're giving the message to child development Head Start, because they're not here. Are they satisfied with I'm the top, one of the top pays. I've been here almost, I'm the second one in line for the longest sitting here. So something's wrong with this program. Where is child development at? Are they getting intimidated? They're scared to come in? Because I know that's happened to me. Like I came back and I said, I was getting false accusations against me. I'm not getting no materials. I don't have no electronics in my classroom. I have no heating system in my classroom. And that's the state law. That's the state law. But yet management will come in here and ask you guys for a raise and you give it to them. Doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. Because where's the money that all the stipend that came into from state pre? There has been some. There has been some money that's been coming in from state pre, but it's used for other purposes. COLA could be used for us also, not used for state pre. It's not used for state. We're bogus. We're bogus. And they treat us
Thank
as
you,
we're
Mrs.
poor.
Carrillo. Your
Well,
time is
I'm
up.
educating the children the same way, because that's who I am, a teacher.
Thank you very much. Concludes public comments related to closed session. We will be going into closed session at 6:10. We will be out by 6:30. 6:30. If we do not finish any business, we will come back out and we will go into closed session once we are done approving the consent calendar. Correct. So by 6:30, we'll be doing the recognitions and everything else. So we'll be back in 20 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is our last board meeting of our school year. We'll make sure after 2 years of COVID devices to the previous years recognize our staff person. So we did want to develop two teams. There are two. There's three teachers. It's already done. The honor here is so without further ado, let's start.
Please come up to the table. Beginning with our Van Wyck Elementary School Teacher of the Year, Marta Castellanos. Next, Don Julian Elementary Teacher of the Year, Patricia Lyons. Next, our Sunkist Elementary School Teacher of the Year, Maria Barcelo Hernandez. For Bassett High School, Jennifer McDonough. For Edgewood Academy, Jody Ruiz. Nueva Vista High School, Miss Cynthia Carell. For Bassett Adult School, Miss Linda Howard. For Child Development, Miss Marta Vega. And for Torch Middle School, who was also recognized as our District Teacher of the Year, Mr. Kevin Tinnell. All right, thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, moving on to our classified school employee of the year. These individuals were selected by their site support team, their staff members. These individuals were voted on. They also have an interview process in which the district classified employee of the year is selected. We will begin with our site selected classified employees of the year, beginning with Van Wyck Elementary School, Mr. Octavio Ortega. For Don Julian Elementary, Miss Amy Olivares. For Edgewood Academy, Mutia Giron. For the District Administration Office, Miss Ada Hernandez. For Child Development, Miss Rosa Hernandez. Bassett Adult School, Miss Fidelina Santos. For Bassett High School, it's Sana Duran Mancia. For Sunkist Elementary School, Maria Reyes. And finally, for Torch Middle School, who was also selected as the district classified school employee of the year, Ms. Alejandra Perez. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, now the moment of excitement. I'm sure that this is a milestone in these individuals' careers and lives, and I'm happy that we are able to again recognize you this evening. We'll start with our certificated retirees for the year. I do want to share that these are employees that we have received confirmed retirements for. I do hear there, sometimes we often receive retirements after the school year, but these are individuals that have submitted their retirements through today. So for our certificated staff, Ms. Connie Mares, Don Julian Elementary. And also from Don Julian Elementary, and also our teacher of the year, Ms. Patricia Lyons. Next, our classified employees of the year. These individuals did retire earlier in the year. However, we did want to recognize them at our last board meeting. First, from Bassett High School, Irma Aspiro, Child Nutrition Manager. And this individual could not be here this evening, but Miss Rachel Castillo from Sunkist Elementary did retire this year. And also from Edgewood, she could not be here with us this evening, but Miss Maria, we know her as Adelia Fernandez from Edgewood Academy. Thank you. Okay, that concludes our retirements for our certificated and classified staff. We also wanted to thank you. We also wanted to recognize our student board representatives who have come to our board members, and I know how precious social media time is for our youth at this, after school. And so we do appreciate you all for serving as our student board representatives. So if you could please come up, our student board reps, please. Yareli Perez. On behalf of the Board of Education and Dr. Alvarez, we thank you. And Miss Emily Anaya. And, oh, sorry. Thank you so much.
So congratulations to our award winners, and hope that those who are retiring are off to great adventures. Thank you very much for all your time at Bassett. We do appreciate you. So thank you. So the board will be going back into closed session at 6:50 p.m. to reconvene business. All right, let's go. We are reconvening from closed session at 7:38 p.m. for the second time. Item one of action taken in closed session. There was no action taken in closed session as for informational purposes. All right, we go on to item number 6. Item number 2, DLAC board president. Dino last.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kennard. Good evening, Board President, Board members, Superintendent Designee, and Bassett community. Unfortunately, our DLAC President was unable to make it this evening, but he has asked me to read the letter to the board on his behalf. And so I will be reading the letter from our DLAC President, Luis A. Hernandez. Good evening, members of the board and executive cabinet. My name is Luis Hernandez, and I am the DLAC president for the 21-22 school year. As part of my DLAC responsibilities and as my duty as a president, I am here this evening to advise the school board on matters pertaining to English learners. I would like to start by thanking you for your support, the work that Bassett Unified School District has taken on this year with our English learners. The reclassification plan presented at the beginning of the school was a big success and finished strong. We overcame the challenges inherited by 2020. This year, we were able to reclassify over 150 students through testing process. These students will be able to attend other courses that will help them continue growing at the regular level. They will be able to join their peers, enjoy classes like robotics, music, science, and prepare better for their higher education goals. DLAC would like to make 3 recommendations for this coming year. First is that the district to make it a goal to rebuild the LTEL parent engagement program. At every school site, administrators, long-term English learners, and their parents met to review and understand how we, DLAC, could support their journey to reclassification. These meetings will support us parents to understand how the English program works and our children's learning. We will review their progress and obstacles. Parents will learn what we as parents could do to support our students so they could reclassify. In addition, these meetings will involve parent, students, and the school at the same level so that what is needed to reclassify. These meetings are a good opportunity for parent involvement and work together. Second, the DLAC would like to recommend that the district hire 1 EL teacher for each school site. These EL teachers would work with teachers in delivering EL instructional strategies for English learners in every classroom. The teacher would also work directly with English learners in the classroom. We have seen this model used with the early literacy teachers at the elementary schools, and we feel that the same resource should be provided for our English learners. These teachers will also serve as a link of communication for parents, ELs, principal, and the district. The students at the 11th and 12th grade level will highly benefit from this English learner instructional strategies, as it will help them reclassify before graduation. Lastly, we would like to recommend that the district make it a goal that all students need to be reading at grade level by the end of 3rd grade. We understand that foundational reading skills are essential for our children to be able to read and understand what they're reading in each of their content areas. This is especially important for our English learners. We know that English learners struggle with language and reading, and we feel that it is important to provide support in elementary before they head off to middle school. For students that do not make the 3rd grade reading target, we would like to recommend that elementary schools make intensive tutoring support a priority during the 1st trimester for those 4th graders. DLAC greatly appreciates your attention and the great support of our students. We ask that you consider our suggestions and have a good evening. Luis A. Hernandez, DLAC 21-22.
Thank you, Dr. Medina Pinar. If you could do us a favor and send that letter to the board.
Definitely will.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Item number 3, Spring Educational Learning Opportunity Program. Nila?
Good evening, Board President, members of the board, and members of the cabinet and our academic community. My name's Yvonne Paul, and I'm the general manager with Think Together. We're your extended learning service providers, and we are your after-school educators, along with the many teachers and wonderful staff members that you were able to celebrate today. We are celebrating an event of our own, and that is the opportunity that we had to bring to you our first ever expanded learning opportunities program that's been made available with new funding that we are happy to serve the district. We know, you can take us to the next slide, our expanded learning opportunities program has 3 intentions by design. It is designed to expand services for students and families in our after-school programs. It's designed to create summer learning opportunities for students for districts that do not have that funding provided at the federal level. And it's also intended to create 30 additional days to the school year, 9-hour opportunities for students to regain learning loss and to benefit from academic and additional enrichments to promote their learning and also support their social emotional wellness and development. Next slide. Partnering for capacity is what we do with our partners here in the district at Bassett Unified. And traditionally that comes in a number of ways. The district supports through in-kind supports, facilities and classroom space for our programs to run, custodial services, transportation services as it applies for field trips. And we also serve your high school students with our assets grant. We also depend on the district to support us with nutritional services, ranging from breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner as well. What I want to remind you all of is that as we're building capacity in year 1 with expanded learning opportunities, there is the opportunity for year 1 funds to roll over for use into year 2. Next slide. As we're building capacity, that looks a number of ways. The CDE has been very generous to not include any requirements that would put pressure on our districts. They know that coming out of the pandemic, we're all dealing with staffing shortages. Staff have been working overtime in many ways. We're aware of it as your partners. We've been alongside you, supporting with services, and we know the district has committed to providing meals and other supports for our families. So the ELOP year 1 requirements are really not requirements. The only requirement we've heard from CDE is to begin to build capacity, begin to program or plan your programs, begin to design the services, and do that with creativity. Listen to the needs of your students and families and bring those needs to fruition with these enhanced services. Next slide. So that's exactly what we did. As we partnered with the district, we did some needs assessment with our families. We listened to them. What is it that they wanted for expanded services, additional needs for their students? And we took the opportunity to implement expanded learning opportunity program this spring. We implemented during spring break for TK through 8th grade students because we were able to serve in that way. We didn't create any barriers for any students or families in our first implementation. We hosted program at 4 sites in the district, again, serving all grades, and we had 200 families who signed up to enjoy those programs and services. One of the things that really excited us is that we saw families sign up for the ELOP program that are currently not benefiting from our extended learning or after school services right now. So we know that tells us something, right? There is the opportunity to not only provide these 30 non-instructional days, that we have been in conversation to look at the opportunities at the school calendar in partnership with the district. but also to expand those after-school opportunities with more, we call them cohorts, but more groups for students to enjoy our services. And what we are really excited about is that kids did not want to leave this spring program that we put into place. So I apologize, the formatting got a little wonky, but what this is spring magic. And we literally brought magic to our students during spring break with a magician who doubled as a comedian, bringing a lot of laughter and fun and light to our students. We did a treat of the Kona ice truck. So for our students to sit around and enjoy a cool treat during a hot spring day as they reconnect and build those relationships was one of the things that we know. We've heard from families when the Kona ice truck comes to some districts, it comes as a fundraiser, and our families oftentimes do not have the funds for kids to participate. So we're really listening to our leaders at the Extended Learning Division and dreaming big for our kids, meeting some of those needs that that we're able to with these funds being very generous and really being guided to spend on students and create a good experience for students to support their learning. Next slide. We also heard not only from parents, but also from our stakeholders in the district that visual and performing arts is key and a big priority. So we're making sure that our teams are bringing in lots of opportunities for students to express themselves and learn about different types of art and have fun creating their own art as well. Fitness and team building is a huge part of what we already do in our after-school program, and we definitely did not let that go missing in our spring ELOP opportunity. We had a lot of partners actually that are new to our opportunity to bring expanded learning opportunity programs to the district that go above and beyond what we're able to provide during the regular school day with our ACES program. Next slide. So some of those new programs and partners include Fulcrum, which focuses on organized team building activities. Mind Up for Life and Harmony are two program curriculums that we've trained our staff and integrated to support social emotional wellness. Our U.S. Soccer Foundation was really exciting to hear kids talk about how they were able to focus on that really intensely during spring break and develop those skills that help them really understand what they're doing and not just kind of play without understanding the skills and the strategy. So it's exciting for us to hear students firsthand speak to what was magical for them in our spring ELOP program, and really exciting for our staff to be able to implement some new programs and initiatives for our students. So as I described in the yellow, you'll see highlighted what we've already achieved with our ELOP rollout for year one here in the district. We have 4 days into our 30 NIDs, as we call them for short, that are recommended. Again, there is no requirement for year one. So what I really appreciate about the commitment of the district is to really implement and not let these opportunities fall by the wayside. And sadly, we've heard that there are districts across the state who are overwhelmed, they don't understand ELOP, and they're not implementing. So I just really want to praise our district leadership for saying, we're not going to pass this by and we're going to see what we can do. Part of that vision setting is to look at what we can do this summer in a more, in a longer capacity, a longer window to serve our students. We know parents want more academic focuses as well. So with the longer window to serve in summer, we're able to build in some of those more meaningful academic supports into our program, as well as the enrichment pieces. So what we're recommending and what you all will have an opportunity to have before you, and we hope that you will approve, is a summer learning session for our students that would go through June 13th through 30th. And again, that would bring our year one implementation of non-instructional days to 18 days, which is really commendable. Next slide, please. We're also looking at, we know how the calendar works. And so while year one of the ELOP comes back to back with year two opportunities, it's a full summer opportunity that we're exploring for our students. So we would have a June component, and then we would have a July component as well. that puts us 10 days into the 30-day requirement for year 2. And then we've explored, we've looked at the calendar. We know there are opportunities with winter, with spring in the following year, and then again, creating a meaningful rhythm to make sure that we have summer learning opportunities ongoing for students in the district. This, as I mentioned, is an enhancement and expansion of ACES services. That's the after-school safety and education supports for students that provide extended learning opportunities. Currently, the district has a part-time model, if you will, for our staff. And what I really want to implore you to consider as we move things forward and bring before you contracts for services for the extended learning hours is to understand the broader landscape of the ELOP environment, these ongoing expectations that districts have 39-hour days outside of the school day calendar where services are provided to families. We want to support the district in that capacity. And in order to do that in the most seamless way, we want to recommend a return to our full model. That would allow our site coordinators to be full-time versus part-time. And we know the collaboration in this new environment, the services that are going to be created and designed to serve our families really beg that full-time model for our team to be here to serve and partner with the district. And so I wanted to make that recommendation along with the celebration, and really on behalf of our entire team and all our colleagues at our organization, want to thank you for the opportunity to work so closely in partnership and collaboration and service the families in the district and do all that we can to help change the odds for kids. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I do have a question. You mentioned the full-time ACES model. Would that put the coaches on campus the entire day, or would it just, I'm not quite sure what.
Thank you. I appreciate that follow-up question. So what I'm referring to is our current model has a site coordinator who's basically the manager of the extended learning program after school. And they work with anywhere from 4 to 6 program leaders who are working in cohorts to provide the direct services to our students. Our site coordinators work part-time. Our site coordinators throughout our organization are full-time positions in all other districts. Our program leaders are part-time. However, during our non-instructional days, as we design them for the district, they will be working overtime. And so we're already identifying those needs with our staff and really, again, implore our district to align, because what we do know is the part-time model leaves us vulnerable to staff transitions, right? We know our current team right now with this part-time model, they have morning jobs. So as we're planning and designing some of these new service opportunities, we want to keep our team, we want to retain them, and we want to create those opportunities for more meaningful engagement with our stakeholders in the school day to be able to partner and align.
Can you give an example of that? So say the coaches are there, or the manager for the site is there from 2 to 6 until parents pick up. Would they be there from 8 until 6, or and what would they do during that time?
That's a great question. Our full-time site coordinators are generally on the clock from 10 until the end of program, whatever their end of program is at their particular district. They have a range of administrative duties related to attendance, compliance, implementation of their program, creating materials, program lessons, doing shopping for their program. And we really encourage, as much as possible, collaboration with our principals, with our school day teachers around alignment opportunities. And that's the piece that gets, I guess, compromised with the part-time model, is it doesn't create those opportunities for the meaningful engagement with school day partners. And we've been able to make that work. We've been able to make that work and provide a great program, but we're in a new environment and it's a new landscape. And so we really want to be strategic about our vision to implement and do everything we can to support the infrastructure that it will take.
Excellent presentation.
Thank you so much.
I've experienced ACES with my own district where I teach, and then Think Together here in this district, and you did an outstanding presentation. I have to say, thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. And I actually want to point out, I provided a handout with just a little bit more description of some of the programs that you saw on the slide. I caught an error on that, and I want to point it out and apologize. Under Harmony, what you actually see is the description for our Invention Adventures curriculum, and that's something that we've been implementing through our ACES program in the school day. Last year, we had a student during the pandemic who was recognized in our efforts because that program allows for statewide and national competitions for students' inventions to be recognized. And so I apologize for the typo there. There's just so many great things that we're doing. It's hard to fit it all in. Any other questions?
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you very much for your service to the district.
Item number 4, joint occupancy development of district-owned property.
Good evening. I'm Serena Abrahamian with Orbach, Huff and Henderson. This is a presentation on the joint occupancy development of district-owned property. And really what the presentation entails is going through the legal requirements of a joint occupancy development, the potential revenue that can be generated from developing property, and you'll see the property that's being considered, and the steps that we recommend for potentially engaging in this process. So the property that's being considered for development or and that we're going to walk through in terms of potential steps for developing is 1314 North LeBourne Street, La Puente, California 91746. And I want to be precise about this. The area and the property that's being potentially considered is the vacant area adjacent to Florence Flanner Elementary School. So what's identified there in the slide as assessor's parcel number 8558023-910. That piece of property is approximately 4.5 acres, and I want to note that has not been surveyed. That's just an approximation. Of course, once a survey is conducted, we would have a much better and precise sense of exactly what the acreage is. The zoning is open space, Baldwin Park jurisdiction. It's within the city of Baldwin Park. And the estimated valuation, and again, these are more rough figures. We have not obtained an appraisal, but based on a broker's general assessment of the valuation, if the property was sold for a single family residential development, it could generate between 1.9 and 2.8 million. If it were ground leased, which is what we're going to be discussing tonight, it could bring in a revenue of approximately $146,000 per year. If it was sold for a multifamily residential development, it could generate between 9.6 to 14.5 million. And again, what we're discussing tonight is a potential lease structure, and that could generate between 384,000 to 579,000 per year. Next slide, please. So you heard me say a couple times now about long-term ground lease or leasing, and that's generally what we're going to be discussing or presenting on tonight. So just in terms of the overview and benefits of a ground lease, and by way of background, a ground lease is to lease the land, and so that vacant piece of property that we just looked at. The ground lease would be entered into under this structure between the district and a potential developer of the property. And it would generate long-term revenue streams. But to be clear, the district would maintain ownership of the property. That's an important point. Even though it's leased to a developer, the district would maintain ownership of the property. And with the goal and purpose of utilizing the revenue from the ground lease to support the district's mission, which includes providing resources, educational opportunities, and support to the students of the district, and of course, supporting growth and revitalization of the community. Next slide. And why are we talking about what we're calling a joint occupancy structure? So we covered what generally are the benefits and provided an overview of what a ground lease is. A joint occupancy structure under the Education Code is a mechanism by which the district can procure a ground lease. It's a procurement mechanism. And the reason why this is a good potential option for a school district to consider is because A, it's available to school districts as a procurement option because it's authorized under what you see there, Education Code Section 17.515 et sec. Number two, it does give the district the option of entering into a long-term ground lease of up to 99 years. And really it's which I'm sure a lot of you have heard about and of course is a more popular structure these days, something that we call a public-private partnership, where a public, let's say in this case, a public property and a private developer would work together to develop property. And the other benefit of a joint occupancy structure, which is important, is that the district can maintain a presence on the site for the term of the ground lease. So in other words, the district maintains a presence in the sense that it can include in the development plan or request as part of the development option that the district use be considered. So there are some examples of what that can be: community fields, homework study centers, childcare centers, and you're not limited to that. Of course, it's up to the district, its vision and what its needs are. So that's a really important aspect of this. Next slide. Some additional benefits of the joint occupancy structure is it does provide the maximum flexibility to the district and a developer, again, because it provides an opportunity for entering into a ground lease for up to 99 years. And just to provide why that's important, the longer the lease term, the greater the revenue stream and the ability of a developer to obtain financing, manage the entitlements, absorb the costs, all of the things that would go into potentially developing a piece of property for it to generate the kind of revenue that we just looked at in terms of the numbers that we saw on slide 2. Of course, the district and community benefits from the continued use of the site and the district's continued ownership of the site. And another really important point is that the district would not be in any kind of legal or contractual obligation to a developer until there's an execution of an agreement with the developer. So an exclusive negotiating agreement or jumping right into a ground lease, which we'll see closer to the end of the presentation as the mechanisms by which all of this gets essentially put into an agreement and then finally executed. But of course, all of that requires board approval. Next slide. So as I said, we're also going to talk about the recommended process for procuring a ground lease under the joint occupancy statutes. So as a first recommended step would be to, prior to initiating the joint occupancy steps, is to procure a broker. And essentially why that's important is if you retain a broker to help market the property, it's done effectively. Of course, broker commissions and expenses would be borne by the developer. That is something that would be negotiated and made a requirement up front. They would not be borne by the district. And what brokers can do, especially ones that have nationwide reach, is that they can target developers nationwide, which is important, but also statewide, and then very importantly, I think to a lot of school districts is locally, for local developers to have an opportunity to also potentially propose on developing the property. And a broker can also assist with assessing what the market response would be for the type of use that we're talking about here, which is a long-term housing development. And just generally, what would be the process for procuring a broker? And again, this is all open, transparent, would come back to the board for approval. Is a request for qualification and proposal would be issued. The district would receive proposals, go through the process of assessing those, identify a broker, negotiate and finalize a broker agreement, and then the agreement would be brought to the board for approval. And that would be in board meeting, of course, with the opportunity for public comment and everything else that goes along with that. Next slide, thank you. And then jumping into actually initiating the joint occupancy steps. So what's required there is the approval, and again, this would occur at a board meeting, of a resolution of intention, which is, and you see there what that does, it provides notice that the district has commenced the joint occupancy project for the site, that the district will be soliciting proposals for development of the site, that the district is not only holding that first resolution of intention, of course, meeting and considering the resolution at that first meeting, but at a subsequent meeting, we'll receive those proposals, consider them, and then select the proposal that quote unquote best meets the needs of the district. And that's right out of the statute. That's why it's quoted. And the resolution of intention must be published weekly for 3 weeks after approval so that the development community has noticed that this is, again, something that the district is pursuing and of course can propose. And then once that occurs and the request for qualifications and proposal is ready to be issued, it would be issued along with ideally broker prepared marketing materials to show kind of what the benefits of the site are and how it could be developed. Once the RFQP is issued, of course, the district would receive and review proposals to the extent that clarification of those proposals is required, or for example, what's typically pretty important on these types of deals is what are the financial projections and will the developer be able to deliver on those financial projections? And then typically there's an interview and process for the top candidates in order for the board to make a selection. And then moving into the selection process, of course, the board, again, at a board meeting where all of the proposals have been brought back to the board for consideration, would select the developer. And this is what I was referring to a few minutes ago, can either enter into what we call an exclusive negotiating agreement with a developer so that the developer can do their due diligence, which is for the developer to examine the site and see if it can be developed for the purpose that they're hoping to develop it and that they've proposed to develop it. And if that's the case, then the board would enter into a ground lease, not the board, I'm sorry, the district would enter into a ground lease with the developer for the longer term. But again, both those things, if done separately or if done in one agreement, because they can be done in one agreement, would be brought back to the board for approval. And then finally, in terms of more immediate next steps, and generally just to recap what we walked through, is that the immediate next steps would be to issue a broker RFQP, receive proposals, bring a broker agreement to the board for consideration and approval, and then at a upcoming board meeting, bring the resolution of intention to seek proposals from developers to the board for consideration. And that is the process and the steps. I just want to open it up to questions if there are any.
Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight.
Item number 7, written communications. We move on to item number 8, public comments. Board of Education welcomes input from the public in order to conduct district business in an orderly manner for the privacy and safety of the speaker and to help staff respond more directly to board policies required. The public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers may address only items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to state their name, address the board from the podium, and adhere to the applicable time limit of 3 minutes. Total time allotted for public input on either agenda or non-agenda items is limited to 20 minutes. Complaints should follow the district complaint procedures before discussion with them. First, we have BTA, Bassett Teacher Association. Then we have CSEA, California School Employee Association. And we have community members. First, we have Colonia Sullivan.
Good evening, Bassett again, and board members. I came specifically to let the board to be mindful that when somebody comes here, says this community member and puts their name as P or K or Gonzalez and give herself minutes just to demean a member of the community that needs to be either stopped or spoken. We all know what they're referring. If parents did it, you guys wouldn't put up with it. That's disrespectful. So if I have to come here, another reason I'm here, that I will not allow ever a predator, sexual abuser, psychological abuser to ever use this podium to pretend to be the victim like Gore did, okay? We all know why Gore was moved from Edgewood to Sunkist. I could repeat the story. So I told you, Mr. Barajas, 3 things I needed for me to stop. Acknowledgement, an apology, and my gas money, because you're costing my household money by not doing the right thing. So unless we all agree to that, at some point, you're going to see my face and predator speaking here. Now, you know that I am involved in all the schools for a long time, and Think Together after school looks different for different campuses, not because I sit at the board, because I'm there. Some schools like Sunkist tend to have the students do and focus on homework. Some at Edgewood is different, it's more of a childcare. At Torch here is more of sports and trying to have bigger activities geared to middle school. But one thing I've noticed, there's issues with that. Whether there's pandemic, the price of rice in China has risen. We should not be accepting of low quality staff. The turnaround that Think Together does, because I've been there when their complaints have been brought through in coffees with the principals, school side meetings, and every different school, they're different. What you all need to look at, if to be productive and proactive, is no longer in general terms what they're going to do for our children. You have to write that down. You have to know what that looks like. You have to have consistency in staff. If there's a program that cannot deliver, then it should not be here. We need to stop saying that everything is so expensive, the world's going crazy, pandemic. At the end of the day, it's not that, it's you as failure for not demanding the foundation for our children. That is one of your main reasons you're here. So when somebody doesn't write it down, and I have 3 minutes from Ms. Carvajal, detail what it's going to look like, and you don't demand that the principals are accountable for what that looks like and the benefit of the children. The parents at times don't complain or don't come forward because that's the only way they can go to work, by having that childcare, which puts them in a very sticky situation. Do I complain? Do I take off to complain about that, or we'll just deal with it? I think the district has enough data to see our needs. I think the district has enough data to see where we need to focus on. By DLAC president, they did forget the special needs. That's absolutely an administrative issue by not having a competent special education director that was here for 2 years and did absolutely nothing. A lot of the English learners, like I've told you, are also designated special needs. And we don't even know where the line is so great. We don't even know the needs of the children. And I think that needs to be looked into. I could be negative and stay here and say so much. I'm trying to be proactive, because at the end of the day, that has always been my goal. But if you guys can do that with Think Together, with any program that comes here, iReady, I know I have parents complaining about it. iReady is never to be a school, is never to replace a teacher, but the teachers, you know, sometimes exceed and take advantage of those programs because of whatever. Maybe they don't have the tools. I'm not here to judge. I just know that there's a gap. And I know I know some of you scratching your heads and maybe you guys are a little bit bored, and some of you don't have children. Actually, none of you have children here. One of you has relatives here. And sometimes I feel the disconnect with the urgency of our children not reading to grade level. Go call the sheriffs and see how many jails they're building for them. Maybe that will like put a little bit urgency in what can Think Together or any other program that comes here, what can they do for me? Because nobody's doing stuff for free. So thank you, community. And any predator, I'm still listening. I know your names. I can call them out. Stop what you're doing. That's simple how I will stop. Thank you, community.
Next, we have Michelle Sampson.
Hi, my name is Michelle Sampson. I am a former employer of Bassett. I am here to advocate on behalf of me. So I was hired on as a classified sub in 2019. That was about 4 weeks before COVID hit. And I stayed on. I called you guys every quarter to make sure that I could still come back because we know that there were no subs during COVID, right? So I waited for over 2 years to come back. When subs were finally allowed back on campus, I only got to work for you guys for 1 day. And then I made a mistake in that there's an auto dial for subs, and I blocked that number because I didn't want it calling me at 4 o'clock in the morning. But it's also the number that the district uses to call. So because I wasn't getting calls for work, I was let go. And I understand that that's my issue, but I'm standing here asking for a second chance. This is my second time talking in front of the board. I will continue to come whenever I can from Long Beach, driving 25 miles each way, sitting 3 hours through your riveting board of directors meetings to say that I think that your staffing needs are such that you need to give people a second chance. And every decade that I grow older, I think I need more. I want to give people 3 chances and then 4 chances. I have a bachelor's degree from USC. I went there on a full tuition scholarship. I work as an accountant full-time for Long Beach Unified School District. When I come here and work as a sub, that's in addition to my 40-hour work week. And I have an outstanding work ethic. I'm not interested in doing anything but my best. And the #1 job that I get as a sub is overnight custodian. I'm standing here asking for a second chance to come here after work and clean your restrooms for 8 hours. I'm a really good worker. You guys need subs. You have people that call in sick a couple hours before, and I'm the person that you call. And I've unblocked you guys. You guys are still calling me, by the way. The HR forgot to take me off the list. So I'm still getting called at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I would love a second opportunity to come back. I have received 2 awards. I sub at 11 other districts, by the way, because during COVID, they were hiring subs for COVID cleaners. And I received an award as best classified sub at El Cajon School District, because I would go down there and work an 8-hour shift, and then I would go to Lakeside Unified to work a 16-hour day back to back to make it worth the drive to San Diego. And then I would come back. So I would appreciate a second chance. Michelle Sampson. I'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank you. Next, we have Erwin Gutierrez. Then we have last name Moreno. That concludes our public comments. We move on to item number 9, superintendent comments. Alaska.
Thank you. Good evening, Bassett community and board members. On behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Alvarez, who could not be here with us this evening, I would like to thank all of our staff members, community members, and most importantly, our Bassett students. perseverance and dedication our students and staff have displayed throughout the pandemic has allowed us to complete a full year of in-person learning. The energy and passion that the students bring to campus each day is an inspiration to those of us who have the honor of being in their presence, and we are so proud. So as we conclude the 2021-2022 school year, let us commend and celebrate our students and staff for another successful and complete year of education. Thank you. I would also ask that you please join me in congratulating Mr. Manuel Macias for being awarded the 2022 CHP School Bus Driver of the Year Award for Southern California region. Today, it was such an honor to share and celebrate with Mr. Macias a recognition ceremony that was held here at Torch Middle School. Mr. Macias was presented with an award from local and state CHP officials. Manuel was presented with a certificate of recognition by the City of Commerce, where they also recognized his state award for the Southern California School Bus Driver of the Year Award. It was really a joy to see all of the community members, staff members, and maybe about 5 CHP officers were here. Some of them did fly down from the Sacramento. Also in attendance at the ceremony were Bassett community members, some of our district administration staff, and members of the Macias family. I would also like to thank our staff members, our cabinet members, Mr. Tom Covington, and other staff members that were present today to share. We do have a picture of the award. Mr. Gomez, Mr. Elmer Gomez, the Director of Facilities, did a phenomenal job in putting together this event, and it was really touching. Also, as you heard, or as was shared by our student board members, our thoughts and prayers go out to Mauricio Porcayo, a senior at Bassett High School, who many of you have learned was involved in a victim of a drunk driving accident this weekend, which left him hospitalized and during the weekend. I have confirmed with our principal at Bassett High School, who has been in contact. He's well and recovering, but it is going to be a lengthy recovery for him. So we ask that you keep both Mauricio and his family in your prayers. And then finally, this is our last board meeting of the school year. So we would like to congratulate our 2022 class. And we would also like to wish everyone a safe and relaxing summer break. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Item number 10, board member comments, Mr. Solano.
Yeah, I had a few things I wanted to talk about. I think we, as a board, have a unique opportunity right now to tackle, to take some action and create some systems with the new staff and frankly, a new board. And I know we've had some study sessions and we've talked about changing culture in the district. And I think there are also some decisions that we need to make. We talk about declining ADA every meeting, essentially. And this board hasn't done enough to adjust our staffing and everything else that we do with regard to the declining enrollment. So I'd like to see us maybe kind of create either committees or ad hoc committees with regard to declining enrollment and the impacts and solutions to it. Also like to see us maybe look at the issues of the utilization of properties. I'm really excited about the presentation tonight, and I would definitely like to see us have a resolution of intention brought forward to see what we can do with that property. It's been there for as long as I've been a board member, and we've done nothing with it. To have 4.5 acres of land vacant in LA County that's freeway adjacent, it's very rare that you can find that. We have that, and we're not utilizing it. So I'd like to see us utilize that to the fullest, and I want to see that being brought forward as well. But there's other things we can be doing as well with our current properties. I know we have some joint use projects that we have with the city of La Puente that are coming forward. So I want to see us, again, just kind of utilizing everything we have to the fullest. I think we have dropped the ball a little bit on doing that. And I think this is the opportunity we have now to really move forward with some of that. Tomorrow, there is a webinar that the California Latino School Board Association, I'm on the board of directors, we're hosting a webinar at noon for the May revise to break down the impacts of the May revise. There's been a lot of positive information. I can forward the flyer to the board. If you're free around noon, please join. It's a lot of good information around the May revise. I'm sure our staff had a lot of it as well. It's just being able to hear it from, there's two speakers, one from Californians Together and one from CABE, the California Association of Bilingual Educators. They will be hosting and speaking on that issue on the May revise. And so if any of my colleagues want to join, please do. Congrats tonight to the award winners, the Teachers of the Year, the Classified Employees of the Year, the congrats to the retirees, and congrats to the class of 2022. Of course, it's always hard when one of our own is dealing with something as tragic as being hit by a vehicle in a DUI situation. So obviously we send our thoughts and prayers to that student to make as best recovery as he can. And I know we started the meeting with a moment of silence for the 14 individuals that students, kids, children who were murdered today, and that number is up to 19, and it may rise. And that community is not very different from ours. Aside from it being a border town, they're not very different from ours. Those kids look just like ours. So to think that something like that can happen at a school site, it's tragic, it's scary. It's not something we should be even thinking about that can happen. And I know we are not the makers of gun laws, but we do have a voice in that. And something that can't get done in the federal legislature, something as simple as universal background checks has not been done. And I think it's incumbent upon us to pass a resolution to ask for that. And that's not asking a lot. We're not asking for to take people's guns away. We're not doing any of that. We just want universal background checks. I personally would like that. So I'd like to see that brought forward because there are steps that we can take to protect communities, protect our children in schools, and those things aren't being done. And we have a voice and we need to utilize that. And I think we need to take action for those 19 today and for all the other children that have been murdered in schools before because of gun violence. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Solano. Flores?
Okay, thank you, everybody. I would also like to reiterate my fellow board members' comments for the senseless shooting that happened today. That is, our students, our children are our most precious commodity. You know, if we think about it, they are our future, and we need to do more to protect them. You know, things like that. Also, thoughts and prayers go out to Mauricio Porcayo, you know, and his family. We're really hoping for a speedy recovery. When I read this, when I read what had happened, it broke my heart because my first thing was, oh my gosh, he's graduating next week. So he's going to miss, I'm not sure what the plan is for graduation. I'm not sure what we can do to still make him be a part of it or have him be a part of it. But in addition to Mauricio, there were 3 other students. One student, I believe, was a graduate already of Bassett High School. There were 2 others. His girlfriend with bumps and bruises and things like that. The other 2, Mauricio was really the one who got it the most, you know, and is being hospitalized and treated. So again, thoughts and prayers go out to all of them. I would like to say thank you. And I mean, thank you. I had, prior to the meeting, I did have an opportunity to meet with some of our audience and hear some concerns. And how can I say this? We cannot fix what we don't know is broken. So I really appreciated the people that spoke up today to share their concerns and know that these are things we will look at. Social media, I had an opportunity to read a student's project that they did on social media, and it's very true. Cyberbullying, it causes things. We're living in an age where the minds of our youths are very easily, it's intimidating to them. You know, suicide rates because of the cyberbullying, things like that, how students look at themselves, all these things. So social media is something that we do need to look at. And so I really appreciate the parents that have reached out via phone or via email. And I still say, if you have any concerns, anything, I'm always available. Texting is always best for me, okay? But I am available and I will direct your concerns to the appropriate people. I've had some parents that have reached out with regards to the things that are going on right now in the district as far as negotiations, and I'm more than happy to share with them. You know, you don't need to wait for a board meeting to come and talk to me. You can come to talk to any of us and we will direct. The district has done a really good job of posting this on the website in an effort to be transparent. So first and foremost, I want to say with regards to all this, please know that the board, as a board, we are not opposed to giving our teachers a fair increase. We just need to come to an agreement and maintain fiscal stability. And as you all, in case for those of you that don't know, a year or two ago, we had a fiscal analyst come here, put to us by LACO. We needed to make sure that our fiscal was in order, okay? And so we don't want to go backwards. We want to move forward. We want our staff to work with us. We can come up with an amicable solution. I'm very confident we will, but let's get there together. Again, this board, the fiscal situation in this district did not happen overnight. It did not, you know, and it's not going to fix itself overnight. So let's work together to get to the goal that we ultimately want, and we can continue working together. A parent raised in question, I'm sorry if it was a parent or teacher raised questions about programs. I'm all for programs, you know, the arts, music, adding additional things to our curriculum that will benefit our students. I'm all in support of that. Let's get together to the table. Let's talk about it. Don't need to wait for a board meeting to do this. So with that said, I would also like to offer congratulations to all who received their awards tonight. Thank you so much for all you do for the district. In the last 2 weeks, we've celebrated CSEA, our CSEA staff. We've celebrated teachers, and it was a special time for them. I really do thank them for all that they do, not celebrating them just that week, but all year long. We do appreciate you and we do support you. Next week, we have graduations, promotions, and it's a really great time. It's really heartwarming to see students achieve their goals as far as moving forward. So crossing my fingers, I can move schedule around because I love being a part of it. Looking forward to the graduations and the promotions. And again, wishing much success. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out. Let's not wait for it to get, let's not create animosity when it's not needed. Okay. And I thank you so much for your time. Good night, Bassett.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. Ms. Manzioni.
Good evening, Bassett. Congratulations to all credentialed and certified employees of the year. In my eyes, if you made it through the past 2 years, you're all employees of the year. To our bus driver manual, 27 years of not crashing our bus. That's incredible. Thank you for keeping our kids safe. And because I'm a special ed teacher and you carry special ed kids, you hold a place in my heart. Again, as much as I'd like to attend all of the end of the year activities, including the webinar, I'm already teaching summer school. So I'm in a classroom every day. And early congratulations to our younger children for promoting and to our seniors for graduating. This has not been easy. It could not have been easy for you as young people, but you did it. So congratulations. And before the meeting, I was asked why I was wearing red. Before the quarantine, we wore red for Education Weekly. All over California, teachers raised their collective voice to fight for what public education, for what our students deserve in public education. You may also remember I started to go to the high school on Wednesdays to form a drama group. Sadly, with no financial support for script rights or no lighting or no sound, it became futile. The kids were great and eager, but they deserve so much more. So anyone interested in an arts pathway can simply go over to West Covina to their new arts complex and their 650-seat theater. but I'll try again next year to provide it for our students. And I'm taking the kids pizza next week. I know it won't matter, but it might help. Less than a month ago also, schools and districts all over California were awarded through the Department of Education Pivotal Practices Awards. Now, I told Dr. Alvarez I was going to mention this because it really bothers me. Honored for innovative, albeit heroic work by schools when they, due to COVID, had to go virtual. Schools all over the state got these awards. A neighboring district was honored with awards for 28 of its schools and its district office. Did Bassett get an award? No. When nobody worked harder than our families and our students and our staffs, and our classified people that didn't miss a beat, did they get an award? No. I saw families coming out and putting their incredible best foot forward to help their child like never before, working collaboratively with IAs and with teachers. I saw the lunch ladies out there every day, never missing a day. They didn't get time off to relax. But did they get an award? No. Now you might ask why. It's because nobody applied for it. Our credentialed and classified, our children and our families were not recognized because nobody applied for it. All I've ever asked was for our students to get what other district students are getting. And I just want it to have a little equity, just a little. Nonetheless, why do I wear red tonight? I wear red for our children, for the equitable education that they have a right to and everything that that entails, which includes a responsible and respectful raise to our employees. But I wear red for our children. And for the families of those 19 children that died today, and that teacher that died today, and Mauricio, who was hurt by a ridiculous drunk driver. I send my prayers for support for the families. I can't imagine, because my brother was hit by a drunk driver twice, but I can't imagine my students dying. We need to work together. As Ms. Flores said, we need to come up to solutions. We have a very small district. We can make it work, but we have to listen to each other. We have to talk to each other. Ms. Apollonia, you said some great points tonight, and I'm right there with you. Didn't think I'd say that, did you? But you made some outstanding points that we need to take care of. We're not going to be around if we don't. We need to do this for the kids and only the kids. Have a good night.
Thank you, Sandy. My colleagues said a lot already, and I just want to leave it with their words. Just on a final note, just to repeat it again, congratulations to our graduating class and to those being promoted to following school. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, community, for being here. Thank you, teachers, for everything y'all do, classified, administrators. I really appreciate it, and board members. We move on to item number 11, discussion action items. Item number 1, appoint candidate to Citizen Law and Oversight Committee. 24-2022, and the community member is Mr. Fletcher Johnston. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Second.
Oh, okay. Ms. Flores moved. And Mr. Solano second. Mr. Solano?
Aye.
Roll call, sorry. Solano?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Fletcher Johnston. And aye. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 2, proposed personnel commission budgets 2022-2023. Can I get a motion to discuss or for action?
I would like to motion to take action, and my motion is to decline this budget.
To decline the budget. Okay. Okay, I can support that. So I'll second it. second by me. So to define the budget. All right, we go roll call, Mr. Solano.
Yeah, can we have some discussion on that? I do want to understand the reason.
No, it's good.
So let's open it for discussion. Okay, Ms. Flores.
Okay, so I'm motioning to decline this budget because this budget, even though it has not changed over the last 3-4 years, it has not changed. However, some of the line items have changed. And I realize at the end of the year, there's money that goes, unused budget goes back to the district. This year, I believe it's 60,000 that is coming back to the district. At the end of the year, this doesn't make sense. When you have to let go of a staff member that you could have kept had you reduced the budget. Last year, I didn't, being first time voting on this, I asked for a reduction. Okay, and I only asked for, I think it was a 10% reduction. But then again, the district as a whole, we voted against the budget. Okay, this year, I really feel that this budget really needs to be looked at. And to have it still the same, and monies, even though money comes back at the end of the year, again, are we just putting pockets in there? Are we placeholding it there? When it could save possibly a position. So that is my reasoning for declining it, because I'd like this to be more scrutinized, especially right now at a fiscal time that we have to be fiscally prudent with the monies that we spend.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I will say, you know, of all the budgets that we've had to reduce as a district, the one budget that hasn't been reduced, it's been longer than 3 years. I think it starts from when I was on the board, even in 2001, their budget's never really been impacted, even though we've had declining enrollment, even though we've had lesser employees that the personnel commission services are overseas with the classified side. So it does make sense that they should reduce their budget. I understand the reasoning, and we've been through it in 07, 08, where we had a real contentious relationship with the personnel commission. And I don't want to see us get back to that. But I do think we need to voice our concern over exactly what we just stated, that there needs to be a reduction on their end as well. And I just think it's responsible for us to do that. If I can ask staff, what does us declining the budget, the personnel commission budget, what are the ramifications of that, if any?
I would, Santa, if I can defer to Santa on that, I don't know if that would mean that they would need to resubmit a budget for the personnel reduction budget. Personnel commission budget.
This one? I think this is something. So the question is, what are the ramifications if we decline the proposed personnel commission budget for next year?
We can not reduce the budget for PCE, even if you decline it, they automatically go back to the last year's amount, whatever was approved. So that's a difficult part with the PC budget. Once it is set, we cannot. But I think our PC is trying to actually, we are watching their budget, and they do spend conservatively, and then they try to give back the money. But that we have been requesting. So I think they have to make the decision on their own. We cannot, I don't think we have much options.
And thank you for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll just say, I think part of changing the culture that we talked about, maybe we do need to have maybe a joint meeting with the personnel commission, just to have the conversation, because I think it might behoove us to, again, I don't think there's anybody on the personnel commission that even disagrees with us, but also their role in the personnel commission is to represent the personnel commission. And so I understand their views. And again, I don't want it to be contentious, but I think there might be room for us to meet, because Ms. Flores is right. Getting money at the end of the year doesn't do us any good. It doesn't help us. We need it at the front end. And we understand that the budget, once impacted, is forever impacted if they reduce it. But I think we can find some middle ground. So I will be on board with declining the budget. But I also want to make it clear that I do not personally want us to have a contentious relationship with them. That's not the goal. It's just, we're doing our due diligence.
And I fully support that. I feel that I completely agree. But I think if everybody's doing their part and we're looking really scrutinizing and looking at things, the PC budget should be one thing. One of the things I do see in the PC budget is the salaries. The salaries of the directors goes up each year. But right now, what do we have? We have they're wanting a salary. So let's look at that. Let's visit. I for one, yes, no, I mean, as I said in the comment, let's not get to animosity. Let's work together to get there. We don't want a contentious relationship. But I do feel this, you're able to give us $38,000, $60,000 at the end of the year. Then where are these pockets? Get that and fix it.
Thank you, if I may. I've noted the concerns shared by the board members, and I can work with Santa and Dr. Alvarez. I know in the past, our former Personnel Commission administration has recognized contribution to the district's budget by reductions in some areas of their budget, right, either by personnel costs or other areas where they can cut. As Santa said, we don't know what that process looks like, but we can work with Dr. Alvarez and I can.
So at this point, the motion is to reject the proposed personnel commission budget of 2023.
Aye.
Flores?
Aye.
Santiani?
Aye.
And aye. So the budget is rejected 4-0.
I can address that. So it's not out of the ESSER money, but it is out of our ELOT money that we.
That being said, I motion to approve the Think Together Center Programs contract. Okay, second. All right, so no second. Okay, so
I need to abstain from this as I work with Think Together now, so I'm abstaining from any action or discussion.
So, okay, so for myself, my concern here is the comment that was made. The comment that was made is basically, it doesn't seem that every campus operates in the same way. You know, in some cases, it could be babysitting. I mean, I know this is coming from the funds. Thank you, Dr. Kennard. But is there equality across the campus, regardless of the size of the campus? And I don't know if we can.
Oh, I wanted to add to that, in agreement with Ms. Sullivan. Each campus is significantly different in how it's applied and in talking to kids and parents. And it was a beautiful presentation. I'm just not so sure that that's what's implemented on campuses. And my experience is it's not.
So we'll attempt to answer the questions jointly. Okay, so one of the, there's two different programs that we're talking about. There's our ACES after-school program for the elementaries. And what's before you currently is the ELOP program, the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program for the non-instructional days. So I believe the Ms. Sullivan was referring to our after-school program where she maybe has seen some discrepancies. This plan that is before you now that Ms. Paul presented is the spring and the summer, the winter type programs that are for our elementary and torch up through the 6th grade.
Thank you. I will add that our program design includes components that are delivered at all our sites. One of our key components is agency, and that's student agency, youth voice and leadership. Our site coordinators, our program leaders, they actively engage our students in what they want to see at their sites for clubs. So our middle schools, not only here in this district, but across our organization, are driven by sports activities. Sports are a big hit and a big draw for students at that age group. So you will see that very prominently at Torch. And in fact, we want to integrate that as we're integrating upper grade levels at our elementary schools as well. So we're very intentional around that piece. I will say that we do engage our young staff in bringing their own talents and interests into the curriculum design in our clubs and in some of their passions in the enrichment activities that they deliver. So while we have some common components that are in our program, we do have flexibility to customize, and oftentimes that customization comes in partnership with our stakeholders.
And I understand that, and I see that, and yes, I concur with Board Member Sanzioni. It was a great presentation, and I understand that you survey to find out, what is the best interest. But I can't believe I'm going to say this, but not all students do sports. I mean, I'm a very big advocate for the arts, for music. There are some students that really like that, and we've seen how, what do you call it? It's not coming to my head right now. Oh my God, what is that? The game, the video game. May I defer some time to?
This is not comment. This is not public comments though. Sorry.
Okay, so I guess it's finding, okay, so you've heard concerns. So you've heard the concerns of the community, and we're here to support community. So if those concerns can be addressed, I think we can have a really good program here. What I'd like to see is Torch is not just, when you say Torch is sports, Torch is, you have, again, I'm looking at other areas, I love NFL, but I don't know, not everybody likes the NFL. But you know what I mean? Let's find what students' niche is. What's their niche? What's their growth? If we're going to uphold what they love to do, let's take that and run with it. Let's plant more seeds in our students, other options. And as I said, arts and music is very important to me because I think it's creating a well-rounded student. Yes, the after-school program education, help with their homework, and get them to get the homework done before they get home, which encourages more family time, those kinds of things. But so if I'm understanding correctly, I guess the principals decide what is most needed.
No, let me just add a little bit more information. So our middle schools, they do have partnerships. So you saw on the slide, we have distinct partnerships that are designed to support our middle schools with programming that creates organized sports opportunities for students. It's not our only offering at Torch. We have VAPA offerings, we have STEM offerings, we have initiatives that are well-rounded and creating many enrichment options for students.
Thank you for the clarification.
Absolutely.
So I got no motion to approve, so can I get a motion to table it then? contracted agreement with Think Together Summer Programs.
Based on, Mr. President, based on now that we have this explanation and how this is going to move forward and what it means, we just want to make sure that we're mindful of our community concerns. So can we bring it back to vote?
So
You want to
table it.
table? Motion to table.
Motion to table.
Okay, so a motion to table.
I second.
All right, motion on the floor is to table contracted agreement, Think Together Summer Programs. Mrs. Solano?
So I did want to note that this program was the contract was for begin June 13th. Oh, it's to begin June 13th. This particular contract.
Oh, we'll have a board meeting before that.
Oh.
Okay. We'll have a board. So it's on the table right now. So motion to table. Floor. That's the motion right now, to table.
Okay. Motion to table.
That doing, should I?
No.
Wait. But right now, the motion on the floor is to table. Oh, no motion to table. So I'm gonna quote back.
If you want to go to the prior motion to.
To motion to approve that. So can I get a motion to approve the contracted agreement?
I motion to approve the contract.
All right, oh, can I get a second to approve? I'll motion to approve. All right, here we go, again now. So the motion on the table is to approve contract agreement, Think Together Summer Programs. Mr. Conley for that thing. Ms. Flores.
Aye.
Okay, Santioni?
No.
And aye, but that makes it a 2-1, so the motion will not carry. That's have a majority, which is 3. So the motion does not carry. So the vote was 2 ayes, 1 nay, and an abstention. So the motion does not carry. Okay. We'll go on to item number 12, consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be board B items that will be enacted by the board in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board staff or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Stanzioni?
Second.
All right, perfect. Stanzioni and Ms. Flores. Okay, roll call, Mr. Sono.
Aye.
Flores.
Aye.
Stanzioni.
Aye.
And aye. Consent calendar, motion carries 4-0. Okay, item number 13, adjournment. Our next regular board meeting is June 14, 2022. Item number 2, adjourn regular board meeting of May 24, 2022. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. Flores and Mr. Solano. Roll call, Mr. Solano.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And aye. Meeting is adjourned at 9:02 p.m.